Let's jump right in. Today, we're using the classic textbook, Patterns for College Writing, as our blueprint to completely demystify the academic writing process. Think of yourself as an architect. You wouldn't just start pouring concrete without a plan, right? Well, writing an essay is exactly the same. We're going to explore the precise tools, terms, and techniques that professional writers use to build rock-solid arguments from the ground up.
Patterns for College Writing acts as our master manual. It provides the exact toolkit and vocabulary that pros use to construct a masterpiece. Throughout this explainer, we're going to explicitly define the most essential technical concepts from this book. That way, you'll have the exact terminology and structural know-how you need to start building.
Okay, here is the agenda for this explainer, which maps out the exact life cycle of building an essay. We've got 1. Conquering the blank page. 2. Structuring your thoughts. 3. The patterns of development. 4. Combining the patterns. And 5. Refining your masterpiece.
Section 1. Conquering the blank page.
Let's start with the groundwork, also known as the pre-writing phase. The technical term for this is invention. This is the crucial stage where you figure out exactly what you're building and who you're building it for. You define your limits, like your audience and purpose, and you use strategies like free writing to get ideas flowing or clustering to visually group your concepts together. It's all about gathering your raw materials.
Now, all that brainstorming during invention absolutely must lead to one thing, your thesis. This is the main idea. It is the unshakable foundation that holds your entire essay's structure together. Without a firm, clearly defined thesis, your entire structural framework will literally collapse. It's that important.
Section 2, structuring your thoughts. Once our foundation is poured, we move to a technical stage called arrangement. This is where you frame the house. You decide how you're going to organize your gathered ideas into a logical sequence, a clear beginning, middle, and end. Your introduction draws the reader in, and every subsequent body paragraph must directly support your central thesis. And to hold all these rooms together, you need what we call coherence, which means using smooth transitions to link your ideas seamlessly.
Section 3. The patterns of development.
Now we get to the actual blueprints. Experienced writers use specific patterns of development to shape their arguments. These are the classic structural frameworks you can choose from based on your essay's purpose. Depending on the assignment, you might tell a story with narration, break down steps with process, or group common items using classification and division.
Think of your initial brainstorming questions as a diagnostic tool for picking the right blueprint. If you're asking what happened, your logical pattern is narration. Asking why did it happen? Well, you need cause and effect. It's an incredibly powerful way to diagnose exactly what kind of essay you need to write right from the very start.
Let's look at a specific one. Take writing a cover letter for a job. That relies heavily on a pattern called exemplification. It sounds like a fancy technical term, but it simply means you can't just state your skills, you must provide concrete examples and hard evidence to back up your claims.
Or, if your blueprint calls for description, you have to choose your lens. Objective description is factual and detached, which is absolutely crucial for something like a science paper. Subjective description, on the other hand, relies on emotion and figures of speech, like metaphors, to leave the reader with a powerful, dominant impression. Then there's argumentation, which appeals strictly to reason. To build a rock-solid case here, you might use inductive reasoning, which means moving from specific evidence to a general conclusion. But you have to beware of structural flaws. You must actively avoid logical fallacies. Those are manipulative statements that might look like valid arguments, but are actually logically weak.
Section 4. Combining the patterns. In the real world, buildings aren't made of just one single material, right? Well, college essays rarely use just one singular pattern. It's all about synthesis. You might have a dominant process essay explaining how something works, but you'll naturally use description and definition paragraphs within it to make those steps crystal clear. You just have to make sure you don't fall into a digression that wanders completely away from your main point.
Section 5. Refining your masterpiece. Finally, we reach the finishing touches. This is where your rough framing becomes a polished, livable structure. I absolutely love this quote from the source text because it's a great reminder that the writing process is inherently messy. Even the most experienced writers have to do a lot of drafting, writing several versions to reconsider their ideas. Don't stress if the first draft is rough. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. These final steps are incredibly specific. Revising is where you tackle the big picture, refining your overall structure. Editing zooms way in on sentence style, stripping away informal colloquialisms, confusing jargon, and tired cliches. And finally, proofreading is your absolute last pass to fix typos and formatting. Now, a crucial part of this final polish is proper documentation. Unless a fact is widely considered common knowledge, you must give formal credit to your sources. Whether intentional or entirely accidental, plagiarism severely compromises the integrity of your entire project.
So how do we avoid that? By mastering the paraphrase. This lets you synthesize difficult sources seamlessly into your own framework. Unlike a summary that just condenses points, or a quotation that uses exact words, paraphrasing adapts the source's ideas so they flow perfectly in your own writing style.
If you ever feel like you need more help during this construction process, the source material actually offers a companion site. It is a fantastic toolkit that gives you access to exercises on grammar, reading comprehension quizzes, and even a bibliography tool to make sure your citations are completely flawless.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to really think about the next time you face a blank page. Which blueprint will you choose to build your masterpiece? Whether you're drafting an inductive argumentation paper, a subjective description, or a cause and effect essay, you now have the structural terminology and the blueprints to construct an essay that stands the test of time. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and happy building.